Welcome to Behind the Plate. This is the AL Central edition. I am Daniel Schottler, and this is Justin St. Peter. So we are going to start with what team, Justin?
Minnesota Twins.
Shout out Nick Hillman of the Warhawk DW Whitewater baseball team. Yeah, you know your team sucks.
Yeah, the Twins. They're for the future. They have Brian Buxton and Miguel Sano. They have been the last few years. They are projected to be the future for the Minnesota Twins. Until they come up, don't expect any good things from the Twins, especially this year. Maybe September call-up, probably not. We'll see.
Sano, I've heard about him. He's from the Dominican Republic, right?
Yeah.
We watched a documentary on Dominican Republic baseball players. One of my coaching classes. So.
And Buxton was a top pick from a couple of years ago, the very first overall pick. Let's go to the rotation. The Twins' rotation struggled mightily last year. They went out and signed Ricky Nolasco from the Marlins, but they traded to the Dodgers last year. He is projected to be their ace. He's a solid pitcher, but if he is your ace, you've got some problems.
Definitely. He doesn't seem like an ace pitcher. I mean, they are good Bruins last we got three aces. And then
Yeah.
three guys that could be.
Kevin Correa, journeyman pitcher, just
On fire.
a decent guy. They signed Phil Hughes away from the Yankees. The Yankees guy last week, Steve, is pretty happy that Phil Hughes is gone. That tells you a lot. Mike Pelfrey, the former Mets, yeah, he had a decent year for them.
And Vance Worley, former Philly.
Yeah, between him and Samuel DeDuno, who is a younger pitcher, they're going to split time for the fifth spot. The Twins' rotation is very weak. They have a very good closer, though, in Glenn Perkins. I'm pretty sure he made the All-Star game in one of the last couple of years. Very good pitcher. And the only other reliever that Matt Guerriere.
Former Dodger.
Yep. Anthony Swarzak, I've heard of. He's supposed to be a good prospect. And
Ryan Johnson.
Johnson used to be a starting pitcher for maybe? I don't remember exactly which team. Going to their bench. All young players. The only one that we really know is Aaron Hicks.
The guy who robbed Gomez last year.
Yeah, he was projected. He was their starting outfielder last year. He really struggled behind the hitting. Great defensive outfielder. They're amazing speed, but struggles mightily at the plate. And let's go to their lineup. And start off.
They had some good hard bats in this lineup. There's Phil Williams, a lot of pop. So does Josh Willingham. Joe Mauer, it's his first full season at first base.
Yep.
If you're Justin Morneau, he has some countries to go in Colorado.
Yeah, Justin Morneau and Joe Mauer combined with the face of the Twins franchise for the last few years. Morneau left in the Pirates deal, trade deadline last year.
Morneau just couldn't get healthy.
Yeah, he couldn't get healthy. So Mauer will officially switch from catcher to first base this year and play a lot more games. They'll get his bat in the lineup a lot. He is far and away their best player, all-star candidate. He's been the MVP before. You can't say enough good things about Joe Mauer. On the other hand, besides Josh Willingham and Jason Kugel, this lineup is also not very good. Alex Presley will be their leadoff hitter. He gets on base a lot. Pretty fast guy. Brian Dozier, just a decent year last year. Josh Willingham's really turned his career around.
Yeah. And you know what? And for some reason, he wants to stay there. Anyway, that's a gut to
If he wants to, the Twins will be happy that they'll have some kind of good player.
Yeah.
As Waldo Arcia, lots expected of him, but I think it's only his rookie or second year in the majors. He'll be a good future player. Trevor Plouffe, didn't he come up with Indians?
I don't remember.
I think he might have, but he's another young player, not much expected out of. Jason Kugel's been a solid bat for a few years. Had a decent year last year.
Chris Suzuki, he's going to the Nationals from the A's. So he gives you place in a catcher from positions.
And then Pedro Florimon is projected to start at shortstop, but he is injured. Bottom line, the Twins still be last in Division One. In 1 to 2 years, maybe they'll get out of the cellar, but for now, they're stuck in the basement. Moving on. The Cleveland Indians.
Chris Rose.
Oh, Chris Rose. Possible starters. Their pitching rotation. They lost Ubaldo Jimenez to the Orioles. We talked about that.
Let's bring up a quick issue with that. We not get a quick
draft pick compensation. It sucks for the free agent because not many people are going to go out and spend the big money to get all these big free agents. But for MLB teams that are losing them, it benefits them so much. Because Ubaldo Jimenez, yes, he's the Cleveland ace. He's a solid pitcher, but I'm not sure if he's an ace pitcher anymore. But they're going to get a first-round pick for him. That's a pretty damn good deal for the Indians. On the other hand, Ubaldo Jimenez didn't get that great of a contract, and the Orioles didn't pay him that much because of the first-round pick. Same thing happened with Kyle Loesch last year. Nobody wanted to sign him even though he's a really good pitcher because they didn't want to get out that draft pick. So in bottom line,
so you don't know how that draft came out. I mean, you could get a really good player, a really crappy player. So
yeah, just because they get a first-round pick doesn't mean they know what to do with it exactly. Many people come out of the later rounds and have better careers than first-rounders. At the same time, you have a better chance of being a really good player for the future.
I'm looking at these 2 through 4, and I don't really know who can use the logo area of the career. There's McAllister. I know who Sean Martin is, obviously. He's the 5 in this rotation.
Yeah, Justin Masterson, he completely turned his career around finally had an ace-like season. And he's going to have a good year. He's a great sinker ball pitcher. He's finally going to take that ace role now that Jimenez is gone. That's a good role for him. Zach McAllister used to be in the Brewers. He was part of the CC Sabathia trade. He was a good young prospect for them.
Sure. Wasn't he? Are you thinking of Zach Jackson? I think you're thinking of Zach Jackson. He's the only guys that were in that deal were Laporta, Zach Jackson, and Michael Brett.
I think McAllister was in there too, but anyway, McAllister had a good season last year. They projected him at number 2 with a high ERA. The Indians, their rotation is going to be their weak point, but their lineup is going to be a lot better. Corey Kluber had a decent year for them last year. Did okay in like the 5 spot, but he's in all the way to 3 because Danny Salazar is in a bunch of innings. Another young pitcher for them. And Trevor Bauer, former Diamondbacks prospect they got last year, they're not sure what to expect from him. So between him and Sean Markham, they'll probably take the 5th spot in the rotation. Bauer is famous for not getting along with his coaches because they think he didn't like long crossing. Bauer is the guy that'll try as hard as he can across the whole outfield. The coaches didn't like that because they thought he was going to wreck his arm.
It was like that one guy in that one video where he was throwing, if somebody was throwing the outfield, he was in the maintenance spot.
Yeah, but he goes outfield to outfield all before games. That's his warm up when he's not pitching. Coaches didn't really like that because they figured he's going to blow out his arm. But now that he's in a different coaching system, maybe they'll let him. I don't know.
Seems like a weird thing to say.
If he wants to do it.
The Axe Man cometh.
Yes.
John Axford, former Brewers closer.
Yes, he will take the closing role for the Indians team. Up and down year last year, towards the end of the season, he kind of found his stride with the Cardinals. So they'll have a good closer if he can stay healthy and if he can stay consistent. The problem with him is consistency with his fastball.
I'd say, I guess, he's finally out of Milwaukee, and Milwaukee's kind of a bad place for closers. I mean, a lot of them don't do that well. And well, yeah, he had a good year in 2011, but a lot of them fall through.
Yeah. The bench hitters. Actually, they're bullpen. Vinny Pistano and Mark Repchinski. Two very top of the line bullpen pitchers. Repchinski was on the Cardinals when they won in the Woodlands last year. Yeah, I know.
I don't like that. I remember that when the World Series.
But Pistano had a couple saves last year when he had to step in when their closer got hurt. Very good player. Nick Outman and Carlos Carrasco, they're hard throwing right-handers, I'm pretty sure. That was solid bullpen.
Bench hitters Ryan Rayburn, Mike Aviles, former Detroit player, David Adams, Jeff Francoeur, who was on the Braves and the Royals, basically. Elliot Johnson at shortstop, and the old man, Jason Giambi.
Yeah, Ryan Rayburn.
That bat can kill you off the bench.
Ryan Rayburn, former Tiger player, he had a decent year a couple years ago, and he's really kind of fallen off. He got his contract signed last year for the Indians after he got a monster start to the year and then kind of tailed off towards the end. Aviles plays every position in baseball. Jeff Francoeur, trying to resurrect his career. He was supposed to be the Royals' answer in right field the last 3 years. He really faltered. Elliot Johnson, he started for the Braves last year and their full season at second base. Didn't really do much though. And like you said, Jason Giambi, you do not want to face him with the game on the line.
He's like Matt Stairs.
Professional baseball hitter. And that's all he can do, and that's what he's great at.
He's pretty much all he can do is turn the bench. No.
Yes. Then their lineup. Their outfield is very good. When you have Michael Bourne leading it off in center field, it's like top of the line speed, stolen base, on base percentage, just overall great player. The rest, Michael Brantley from
Brewer, I mean, he got extension. When you talk about that trade, Brewers from '08, obviously, I think both teams got pretty good side of the deal. Brewer got CC for however long they had him.
Just the rest of the year, the whole season run.
And Matt LaPorta never came out. That was surprising part about that deal. Zach Jackson, I don't know where the hell he is now. But Michael Brantley's really the surprise of that deal because he was the player to be named.
And the player to be named has flourished. He's had a pretty darn good career for the Indians. Projected to have some big things. They hope he signed for the next 5 years for the Indians, all the way through his arbitration years. Good job for him. And the Indians also picked up David Murphy from the Rangers this offseason. He's a solid on-base guy. The Rangers are really going to miss him, although they did get Shin Soo Choo to replace him. But David Murphy is a pretty good player for them. Their infield.
Nick Swisher, that's a good bat. Jason Kipnis has kind of come around his last few years. It's Drupal Cabrera, great shortstop, and Roddy Schizenhall.
Yeah, Swisher, big signing from the Yankees last year, had a decent year. You always get good results from Nick Swisher at first base. Kipnis and Cabrera, that's a darn good middle of the infield. They're both young, they're both team control for a while, and both of them have been all-star moves. And Lonnie Chisenhall, a lot's been expected out of him in the last few years. Just had a decent career so far, but mostly defensive third baseman. At catcher, they have just one Gomes. Well, yeah, their catchers are Jan Gomes, and then their second DH is going to be Carlos Santana.
I would rather have Giambi be your DH there. Carlos Santana be like position there, and then I was thinking
For third base, catcher to third base is quite a switch. I've seen him play first base before, and he's not one of the greatest fielders, so I'm not sure if you want to put him in the hot corner.
Maybe what he was asked there, like, he asked he Bencore or Black Francisco last year, the Brewers, and that was all.
It's just supposed to be third baseman, though. But Carlos Santana he is their power hitter. He is their star. He is their starting, most likely going to be their starting catcher. But they're going to put him at DH in games, and sometimes the games he doesn't catch to get his bat in the lineup. Because the more his bat's in the lineup, the better this Cleveland Indians team is going to be. Anything else with the Indians? All right.
Good luck.
Yeah, good luck.
Good luck, Chris Rose.
Let's move to the Kansas City Royals, who mortgaged their future last year. They traded mega prospect Will Myers to the Rays for James Shields and
That's another trade.
Davis.
That's another trade where it's, you know, it's weird. It's on Will Myers has been for the Rays, and James Shields is still a good pitcher, and Davis is still something we need to rotation or bullpen. So
I don't know if it's going to really work out long term, though. That's what they were saying. Like for the Rays, for the Royals to win that trade, they have to make the playoffs. The Rays to win that trade, they didn't even do anything. They just had to have Will Myers turn into a good player, and they'll win that trade forever. The Royals have to make the playoffs for that to be a good trade this year, because it'll be interesting to see if James Shields actually sticks around with them next year, because this is his walk year in free agency.
it's a good rotation with some good arms. Just James Shields, Jerry Lefty is a good arm. Wade Davis is somewhat a good arm. So
Yeah, James Shields will be their ace for sure. Great year last year. Expect more of the same. They had a big loss in Irvin Santana. They signed him as a scrap heap pickup last year, and he had almost an all-star quality first season. He's still a free agent right now. I don't know if the Royals are interested in bringing him back. I'm not sure why they wouldn't. The problem with him is he was a little inconsistent year to year, and that might be why teams are reluctant to sign him to a long-term contract. But that's a big loss.
Bruce Chan and Larry just put
Yeah, Bruce Chen has been a solid pitcher for them for many years. Guthrie, they picked him up for Jonathan Sanchez. Yeah, he was with Colorado. He also had a good year for them. And Jason Vargas, former Mariner and Angel, they signed him. He's a good pitcher as well. Danny Duffy is a young guy they're expecting good things from, and Wade Davis can be their swingman, kind of like a Marco Estrada.
Here's the thing. I'm looking at their bullpen right now. Luke Colshaver. I mean, we have him in the bullpen and all these, this depth just starting in the pitching. It was surprising.
Yeah, they have so much. Their pitching, the starters are going to be pretty good, but their bullpen, they had one of the best bullpens in the major leagues last year. That's definitely not going to change this year.
And you look at the trade they made with the Brewers, and the Brewers get a guy, and Will Smith was a part of that, but I didn't even realize that was going to trade him, so I'm not going to see how better. The Brewers were bullpen like you too.
Yeah, when you have Greg Holland, great pitcher, their all-star closer last year. Then they have Luke Hokovar. They have Colshaver. Aaron Crow. They have Kelvin Herrera and Tim Collins, a little 5'10" fireballer who can throw 99 miles an hour. They have a lot of depth in their bullpen, a lot of good players, and
a lot of depth in their pitching overall.
Yeah, and by being so bad for so many years, they have a lot of young prospects waiting in the wings. Maybe a year or two from now, maybe some that come up this year to surprise some people. But the future is bright for the Royals.
Matt Gillis is their manager. I mean, he's been out the Royals
He had a pretty good team with the Brewers.
Yeah.
But guess who signed as their bench coach?
Gilsman?
Yep.
So if Matt Gillis gets fired for 12 games, you're going to need Gilsman. And then all of a sudden the Royals make it because they have a lot of fire. Like, that's going to happen.
I don't know if it'll happen again, but if Ned Yost does not get out to a good start, he is probably in the hot seat this year. The Royals were supposed to make the playoffs last year. They had a big step forward, but really never made the complete step forward to the playoffs that they needed. The Royals haven't been in the playoffs in over 15 years. They
Seems like another team that runs the curse.
they need to break the curse. This year, hope Royals fans have been hoping for the last 2 years. This year,
Let's
this
just
year is
stop
the
talking
year that they
about
go.
curses and overall. You don't want the Cubs in the World Series.
Their bench, Danny Valencia is a solid batter. He's bounced around. Justin Maxwell, former Astros prospect. Pedro Siriaco, the Yankee killer, for the Red Sox. Jared Dyson, seems like that guy's always on their bench. He is probably in the race for some of the fastest guys in the major leagues. Ramon Hernandez, I don't know how many teams he's on. He's bounced around everywhere in the league as their backup catcher.
Leading off for the Kansas City Royals.
Marichka Aoki.
Aoki-san.
Aoki-san, yes.
Brewers.
Brewers fans, big loss for Marichka Aoki. They're happy that they can get Chris Davis more playing time, but Aoki was a fan favorite, always on base. Just a great overall player. The Royals get a good outfielder that can definitely lead them off well.
I'm looking at this projected lineup. You see Nori Aoki there. You see Alcides Escobar and Lorenzo Canning there. What is Medios doing? He's stealing all the good Brewers, all the former Brewers prospects. I
don't know. The Royals and Brewers are very frequent trade partners, it seems. And Lorenzo Cain, a center fielder, another ridiculously fast center fielder, great defender, kind of struggled at the bat. Alcides Escobar, slick fielding, young shortstop, who finally started to put together a decent batting season last year. These former Brewers are really helping the Royals. But then, probably one of the biggest improvements in baseball, their second baseman last year, they switched through 3 different ones, all of them not very good at all. They went out and signed Omar Infante from the Tigers. First of all, they signed him away from a division rival.
That's gutsy.
Yes. And they get one of the top second basemen in the game in Omar Infante, but that's second in our lineup. Such an improvement over last year.
I mean, you feel jealous for Aaron Hosmer and be like, oh, you did a good percentage of time. We have Nori Aoki, who's a good leadoff hitter on base, and Omar Infante on base, who did more RBI.
Yeah, Hosmer and Moustakis, first base and third base, respectively, they've been the guys that are expected to come out and do good things to the Royals. Hosmer took a step forward last year. Moustakis kind of didn't. Every single year, they're always like, this is the breakout year. This is the breakout year. Is this the breakout year? You never know. Billy Butler's an all-star DH for that team. Alex Gordon. He's won the last 3 Gold Gloves for left field. Great fielder. Another great hitter. They have a lot of young guys.
Salvador Perez is better rushing.
Yeah. This Royals lineup is very young and very good. To go along with their deep pitching, they can surprise some people this year.
And then again, we got a lot of good teams in this league. Detroit, we didn't talk about that. Who knows about the White Sox?
The White Sox, I think, might be a year away. We'll get to them in a little bit. But the Indians, they're going to be there. I think this is a 2-horse race between the Royals and the Tigers this year. We'll go to the division winning the last 2 years, Detroit Tigers.
The team that made the superstar for a superstar trade this offseason, which surprised a lot of people. Prince Fielder is gone. The big fella.
They had to send a lot of money to make this trade work, but Prince Fielder is now a member of the Texas Rangers to be their power first baseman. In the Tigers, after losing Omar Infante to the Royals,
a team that desperately needed a second baseman.
Yes, they got out and got one of the top second basemen in the game the last 3 years, in Ian Kinsler. That's a great pickup for them, and they can bring. With doing that, they can bring Miguel Cabrera back to his natural position in first base.
Miguel Cabrera seems like he's like everywhere in the field. Sort of. He's on first base. He's with the Marlins. He's in the outfield. Right?
There's left fielder. Then it was third base of the Marlins. He moved him to first base with the Tigers and he became a better hitter and a beefier hitter. And he's really struggled the last 2 years with Prince in the field. The Tigers, the last 2 years with Prince at first and Miguel Cabrera at third and other defensive problems in outfield and stuff, they have been a terrible defensive team.
The two guys that will benefit from this field being gone and clearly Miguel Cabrera, and the guy who went to 2012 season is the Martinez. We don't have to deal with them.
Yeah. Ian Kinsler will set that lineup up at second base. He'll get on base. He'll steal bases. He'll field well. Great pickup for the Tigers. Torrey Hunter.
The guy who leapt over the wall in the playoffs can catch that ball from the body.
Yes. That one of the most
replacement of Mr. McPherson.
one of the most iconic pictures of probably the most iconic picture of last year's MLB season. Just a Gold Glove center fielder multiple times. I'll always remember when he robbed Barry Bonds at Miller Park in the All-Star game. Just you can't say enough good things about him. He'll be a Hall of Famer someday. This could be his last year in the majors. You don't really know. He's getting up there in age. This is his last year in his contract. But Torrey Hunter is a great player.
Austin Jackson maybe picked this lineup for
his on-base percentage really is struggling last year. He struck out a lot. He is a very good young hitter, center fielder, great defender again. It seems like all these center fielders, the requirement in MLB is you have to be really fast and a good fielder, and then the batting will come. His batting is slowly coming.
Just like the movie Field Games. If you build it, they will come. As we found in our purpose that movie was.
Austin Jackson, a lot of power, but he'll be batting behind two bigger power bats. Miguel Cabrera, won the Triple Crown last year, AL MVP 2 years running, over Mike Trout both years. What else can you say about him? Miguel Cabrera.
Doing great. There you go. Obviously, he never fell off a little bit because of things really doing. So,
He never fell off. He's still
MVP, never mind. Disregard what I said.
Victor Martinez.
I'm guessing I'm doing defensive.
Yes.
There, I fixed it.
He struggled mightily at third base. He's not in third base anymore. Victor Martinez, very good DH, former All-Star for the Indians, All-Star catcher. For the rest of their lineup, though, Alex Avila is a good catcher, but they're in a platoon between Andy Dirks and Rajai Davis in the outfield. Rajai Davis in the outfield. Rajai is a very, very fast outfielder, not that great of a hitter. Dirks is supposed to be a good hitter, not that fast. At least, left field will be a platoon.
Jose Iglesias,
Yeah. The Red Sox.
Red Sox, the ball post team ended up in the ALCS last year.
Yeah, Iglesias, he'll be a Gold Glove shortstop for years to come. His hitting will come around. That's why they have him batting ninth. It'll be his first full season with the Tigers, but he'll be their shortstop in the future. Good player.
Now in the rotation or in the bullpen?
First, just for bench.
Steve Montegosi, former
National. He's a good bench hitter. Nick Castellanos, starts up with him too, third baseman. Another young guy. They're expecting decent things out of him. They might end up having to get a veteran towards the end of the year and have him be their starter third baseman next year. It's kind of unclear there.
And again, who's going to be available?
That's a very good point.
Aronis Ramirez.
And I don't
Brewers don't do well. I don't think so.
All right, their rotation.
Justin Verlander, Cy Young Award winner. Max Scherzer, another great pitcher. You got two guys who produced 20 plus win seasons. Ariel Sanchez, another good piece. Porcello and Drew Smiley. They lost Doug Fister in the Washington Nationals. So
That was a very curious trade too. Fister they picked up from the Mariners about 2 years ago for the postseason run. He's pitched really well from the fifth spot, but they had a lot of confidence in their young guy, and Drew Smiley. That
they finally got a closer. I mean, last year that was such a struggle for that team. So Joe Nathan, a pretty rival closer with the Twins and the Rangers. Looking at their bullpen, I would put Java Chamberlain as the Java Chamberlain. I would consider as the start man.
I didn't get a chance to talk about the starting pitching yet. Justin Verlander and Max Scherzer. Max Scherzer won the Cy Young. The Tigers have the Cy Young Award winner. They have the MVP of the last 2 years and the Cy Young Award winner of the last 2 years. They are stacked. Anibal Sanchez, he could be an ace on just about any other team. Rick Porcello, another young pitcher, had a great year. And then they have a lot of confidence with Drew Smiley, which you talked about. And you said Joe Nathan is their closer. He's an older guy, but he's a very, very good closer.
I like Java Chamberlain over what was his last name?
Albuquerque.
Albuquerque.
Yeah, the Java Chamberlain.
I took a left, I took a right. South Florida.
Java Chamberlain, Albuquerque, Bruce Rondon. Their bullpen is pretty stacked as well. Not as good as the Royals, but they're still a pretty darn good bullpen. Anything else? All right. For the White Sox, we will bring in our White Sox expert. Just have him pull up the chair. For the White Sox, we'll bring in our expert, Joe Bjorklund, to break down some of the White Sox. We'll start with the rotation. What do you see from their rotation this year?
Well, this year in the rotation, you'll see our ace, Chris Sale. Been there for 2-3 years now. Definitely a young pitcher. Definitely our ace. Second we'll have John Danks or Jose Quintana. Danks, if he can stay healthy, would be a pretty good second guy. And Quintana showed a lot of promise last year, so hopefully he continues that trend. They have Felipe Paulino on here. I think he's newer. I don't know where we acquired him from, but I know Andre Rienzo is going to push for that 4 spot, as well as Eric Johnson, who are both two really young and really solid pitchers. Right now, I'd say they're starting rotations could surprise a few people this year, but for the most part, will be nothing more than average. But in 2 to 3 years, they could definitely develop into one of the better starting rotations in the game. I don't know what your guys' thoughts on that.
Chris Sale, all-star pitcher last year. He is definitely their ace. Did they sign him to a long contract yet?
I don't think we've signed him to a long contract yet, but I still think he has a while to go before we have to sign him again. I think he's got 2-3 years left on his contract. So
yeah, he's one of the top young pitchers in the game. Any thoughts or any rest of the rotation?
John Danks is a good pitcher for them. They're also good at Kevin Floyd. It seems like this rotation is not really good as previous years. In previous years, they had JP, they had Mark Burley, they had Kevin Floyd, they had all those guys. And now they're all gone. So,
a rebuild in their rotation. Their bullpen, they lost a lot.
So. Lost a lot in the bullpen. Definitely late season. Just departures between Addison Reed, Jesse Crane, and who's the third one? Matt Thornton. Actually, probably 3 of my favorite pitchers that we had on the White Sox last year. Definitely sad to see him go, and it'll definitely show in the results. But we didn't really need the bullpen last year because our hitting was so bad. But they signed Belisario, who he should come in, hopefully have some veteran help there. Matt Lindstrom's still a decent pitcher. We have Donnie Veal and Scott Downs are supposed to be competing for the closer role. Nate Jones, if he can get healthy, will also compete there. But
So an extra,
yeah, Axelrod started for us last year, actually, quite a bit, but they're moving him to reliever this year, which I think is a good move because in his starts he didn't really perform well for all 6, 7 innings that we needed him to. But he's still a good 2, 3 inning pitcher. So I would love him as a setup man.
What, you're a long reliever or setup man at least 2, 3 innings?
Well, I could see setup man, but I could also see reliever. I would like to see him, 7, 8, maybe 6, 7 if there's a pitcher out there struggling. But he's definitely someone that we can rely on.
All right. Going through their lineup, I don't know how accurate this is going to be. There's a lot of position battles, you said.
Definitely a lot of position battles this year. A lot going on based on just the trades we made last year and some of the off-season moves we made. Rick Hahn, the general manager, has done what I feel like is a fantastic job. But we'll go through. Right here, they have Adam Eden leading off. That probably will be true. He's going to be our left fielder, I believe, this year. And then they have De Aza, so that's a pretty good one, too, I would say. Eden can get on base. De Aza showed a lot of promise last year in what was rather just a mediocre White Sox batting.
They're all just going to be the first baseman. Brady.
Yep, the first baseman is going to be a big. It'll be an interesting situation because we got Paul Konerko, who is in his last year. We did make the big signing with Jose Abreu. Yogi or Oso, as he's being called around the team. And then we have Adam Dunn and.
Always hit for power.
Yeah, those 3 are going to be alternating between first base and DH. And I did hear.
That could be some trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did hear though that in spring training, I don't know how I feel about this move quite yet. I'm really not too fond of it, especially with the outfielders that we have. But I did hear that they are going to try Adam Dunn out in the outfield for a little bit in spring training. See how he plays.
I don't know how I would feel with that because he's getting up there in age.
Yeah.
How old is he now?
He's in his 30s. I think he's in his 30s. But definitely Paul Konerko is going to take a back seat, I think, a little bit. He's still going to be a leader on the team, emotionally. But physically, he's going to take more of a back seat and let Abreu, who is a big signing and a guy I'm really excited about, kind of take the leadership role at first base. And then Adam Dunn, most likely he's going to play DH most of the time. Paul Konerko will come in every now and then.
Adam Dunn's the epitome of the three outcomes.
Yep, you'll get a walk, you'll get a strikeout, or it'll be a home run. So Abreu, from what I've read, is actually pretty similar to Adam Dunn. So not really what I would love to see as a 3-4, but the potential for power, especially with Eden and De Aza getting on base ahead. I really like that potential to just get 3 runs at a time, but it should be the first half of the lineup is actually much better and shows a lot more promise than it did last year. Coming in at the 5 is Avisail Garcia, who, when he joined the Sox late in the year last year, did a phenomenal job, I felt. Probably was actually the best hitter on the team for the time that he was there. But that was obviously a team that really struggled at the plate.
Who did they trade him for?
We lost, I want to say, Thornton. Or no, no, he was PB. That was in the three-way trade with the Red Sox and the Tigers. So we ended up giving PB away from him. But, sad at the time, but after I saw his production, I was very impressed.
You did 6 and 7 with Alexei Ramirez and Gordon Beckham.
Yep, Alexei should definitely be the shortstop this year. Gordon Beckham, fans are behind him right now. I know he's getting a lot of pressure in the spot from Connor Gillespie, I believe.
Former Brewers prospect.
Yeah, Connor Gillespie right now is listed as a third baseman, but he's going
And
to
Jack
play.
Keppinger, too.
Yep.
They're.
I mean, Keppinger, Gillespie, and Marcus Semien, he was listed on the top 100 prospects. So he might not be until later in the season, but he's also played pretty well in the minor leagues, and he might make a push. So there's a lot of battles going on in the infield, especially at second and third, with Beckham, Davidson, who was acquired from the Diamondbacks. So there's definitely a lot of potential in the infield, especially when it comes to hitting.
And then at catcher, there's another battle between
Yep.
Flowers and Fegley.
Tyler Flowers and Josh Fegley. Really, Tyler Flowers, his numbers at the plate last year were subpar. I felt I really didn't like him, and all of last year I was hearing about Josh Fegley down in Charlotte, and he was putting up monster numbers there. He came up for the later part of the season and played decent, not as well as he did in Charlotte. But obviously there's a learning curve to adjust to, and that's probably going to be the most intense battle throughout the White Sox spring training and early part of the season. Flowers is definitely the better catcher, but Fegley's bat is kind of needed. But if you're going to bat 9, Flowers could probably play more than games.
So you see Flowers winning that battle?
I see Flowers winning it just because he's a better catcher. Fegley has struggled behind the plate, but when it comes to batting, Fegley's I think a little bit better than Flowers. But overall, Flowers I think is probably going to be the better option to go with. But they'll definitely split time, and Fegley will definitely get a share of games. I know there's a few pitchers on there. I'm pretty sure Quintana is more comfortable with Fegley over Flowers. He said that at the end of the last year.
Really throughout the Ronaldo thing. Where do you see the White Sox going this season?
Overall, I think this is a young team, probably the youngest they've been in a while. Rick Hahn's in his second year as general manager, and he's done a pretty good job. This year, I see them making a push towards 500, maybe 75 to 80 wins, somewhere around there. Definitely not enough to win this division. I think you have the Tigers are definitely going to be the front runner, and the Royals and the Indians. I think they're all looking like 85 plus win teams. So I think this is probably one of the better divisions in baseball this year, as opposed to their past years. And so I think the White Sox, they'll finish 4th. I think they'll finish well ahead of the Twins. And they might even be able to make a push at the 3 spot of the division, whether the Indians or the Royals slip up or not. But I'm looking forward to this year.
So who you guys got as your division?
Tigers, for sure. They have continued success. They still have the top 2 Cy Young pitchers in the last few years. They have the AL MVP. They picked up Ian Kinsler. They got much better defensively. I still have the Tigers. I think the Royals are going to make a big push for a wild card spot. There's a lot of new prospects, a lot of young people that could break out. Plus, with the addition of Aoki to get on base with them, I think they can make a good push.
I think it's just going to be a battle for the award that Detroit has. Between the city has and their bullpen played last year. So I think it will be a battle for the other one will be a wild card spot.
Who do you think they have winning division? You said it's a battle. You got to
I
pick
said it's
somebody.
going to be a battle. I think I'm going to give it to Detroit right now. Because they have better team. Bullpen wise, I'm going to give it to the city.
Royals are more, to me right now, the Royals are more of a complete team. The Tigers have so much star talent, you can't ignore that.
What do you think?
I like the Tigers to win the division, but I do think that this will be a 2 playoff team division this year. So I do like the Royals to win one of the wild cards. Indians, they did very well last year. I could see them slipping up a little bit this year. They got a little, I'm not going to call it lucky, but they did have a lot of games where they won by maybe one or two, and usually that doesn't, happen 2 years in a row. So.
That's the Orioles last 2 years ago.
Yep.
Made the playoffs on all like that, and last year didn't do. Well, they had a good year, but didn't get there where they were last year.
Alright, so that was it. Thanks for watching.